Ladies and gentlemen, it has been what feels like a year, but I think it actually might have been a year, to be completely honest. But we're here today with the Expanse Season 4 episode. I should actually do it more like episode 10 reaction. Again, it has what feels like a year, and I think it actually is a year. But why is this significant? It's because we're finally caught up. There is no more episodes after this. It's been quite a long journey, an enjoyable one, I have to say, and one that was full of surprises, I have to also say. But I actually want to do a discussion video, more like maybe not a discussion. Well, I mean, discussion could be anything, but more so me talking about the Expanse, after this video in a separate video. Because I don't know how long it will be. I just want to talk about all the seasons and all the episodes. Might make it a live stream. I don't know yet. But we're here today with The Expanse Season 4, Episode 10. And we're at an episode, it feels like, or at a point in the story where it feels like, where things are crazy. Straight up, things are crazy. Oh my, things are crazy. But we seem to be at that point right now where shizzle is just happening, where things are just going boof, 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 and I'm like, whoa, I can't keep quiet. I can't quite keep up. So last episode we primarily focused on New Terra, on Illis, what was happening on Illis, and that primarily focused on Miller, Holden, Amos, Mercury, Way, and the Doctor, whose name escapes me. No shock. I mean, everyone knows that I'm terrible with names, and I always say I'm terrible with names. You can't even be in the comments like, how could you not remember that? I'm terrible with names, alright? That's just the way it is. But yeah, Season 4, Episode 10. Let us hop right in and see what the hell stepping into it is falling back into the ring. What kind of effect that will have on the story. But, ladies and gentlemen, the only way we can find out is by watching it. So let us hop right in. Now, let's hop right into Season 4, Episode 10.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
That's intriguing. Yes, no. Miller seems to be gone. Yeah. So maybe it didn't affect her at all.
The energy emitters on the surface have stopped.
And Miller's.
Every single one of them. Dead.
Yes!
Okay.
We're good to go.
Yes!
Okay. Their struggle seems to be good. They seem to be good to go.
Then you should answer for yourself. Why were you?
Yeah.
Money.
Unbelievable. A Martian naval officer, mercenary for a vicious.
It makes
government.
sense if you look at Bobby's
War
situation.
of the mighty.
If you look at Bobby's situation, it makes complete sense.
Mars ain't what it used to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
But
about the holy hands part, but the rest. In theory,
fair.
definitely.
Okay.
I don't know where Marco is, but beating me is not going to change that. Or is all this talk of putting our hate aside just talk?
He's got you now. If you hurt him, you'll know that it's all fake, but you can't confirm that he's got the information that you seek. That was a good move, I have to say. Good move. This guy is clearly insane. He tried to put his tooth back in as if it's like a screw you can just unscrew and then screw back in. He's gonna break himself free.
I didn't find much about Beltran in the public record.
Me neither.
So I trailed him to a naval.
Why are you always doing this in public?
Desk jockey.
Go to a room or something in secret.
The security codes he's been supplying us with are high level, typically restricted to commanding officers only.
Altitude. Every time we go through a ring. You're not crazy.
My first thought is like a black hole. I know it's something to talk about, but
I might rather be.
We can talk more about it when I get back to the ship.
a black hole is what I'm
We get
thinking.
back to the ship.
Remember like season... damn it. Remember season 1 when those like just... We're always on a bad those who just couldn't get off, those who just hated each. Well, I can't even say that. Amos is just Amos, right? Holden felt like Amos hated him, but like Amos is just Amos. When we, well, at least I thought like he's like so into Naomi, he's like, she's like a sister. I bang her, of course, but she's like a sister. I was like, oh, okay, well, okay.
How does any of that help Mars?
That's a good question. Well, perhaps our Martian can help us with that.
Uh-oh.
The dream of Mars isn't dead. It's about to be writ large. Don't do it!
Understandable reaction. Alright. At least it wasn't Ashford, but it still sucks. Alright? It still sucks. His whole message of peace is just... The regrow gel. Wait, couldn't you do that to a spine then too?
Hey.
Probably not. Probably not, actually.
She didn't mean for anyone to die.
Yeah, but people did.
But they'll still make an example out of her. I got the chance to remake myself.
I was just about to say, I get that it relates to her as well, what she's saying, but what you're... There is a reason, right? In law, we have crimes with intention and crimes without intentions.
Better narrative if she had written it herself.
That's because she did. What if she was like controlling all of it? Somehow, I don't know how that would make sense. She's like a higher being. For some reason, she wants to have that position.
Eastside, it's an ambush!
Shoot them all! God damn it! There's no need for this!
A soldier. Oh, that is so... That is all one shot so far as well. I don't know how they do blood in one shot, but he's gone. Run! You can hear the beeping. I can hear the beep.
Oh, fuck!
Oh no, oh no, oh no. CGI budget is going off. Oh no, Bobby. Don't be flung out. Hold on to that steel beam or something. Europa.
Entire fucking military by yourself?
Not by myself. Good luck.
Bro, wait, no. Stop. You're not gonna do a two-man team.
Don't be. At least now I've got something to do.
Your family now too.
I come visit you in space.
You do that. All of you.
Alright.
Goodbye.
I like that. Now that whole family is getting its goodbye. With Cheeky obviously joining them after the storm that happened.
You made me kill Wei. I liked Wei.
Oh no.
Thank you.
Our future is in your hands now.
That's actually a very good message. But yeah, as I was gonna say, the political quest, let's call it that, changes people a lot.
What it's for, not yet, but it feels dangerous. Assuming your offer to work together is still open, I accept.
Dreaming sucks.
Debatable. Debatable. I get why she's saying that though, but debatable.
All hands, we are under attack. Prepare to repel boarders.
Ashford? I don't think narratively would make sense. I don't actually know that Marcus survives this. Oh, look at this old man go. Look at this old man go. Can't say old, but I don't actually know how old he is. Let's get the burns, dude. So I would say 60, 70-ish. That could be completely off here. I'm terrible with age. Okay. Is there any more in there besides him? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't.
It's just you and me now, Marco.
Is it?
Well, not just.
Is that like the son? He's.
You're not even going to try to convince me to spare your life.
Why would I waste the last few precious moments I have?
No!
Genuinely going to miss you.
No.
To the execution dock I have come till he go.
Thrust.
I thought they were all dead in here, besides you two.
Adjust trim to match target vector.
Bro, and damn it, I really like Ashford. Really good character.
Asteroid spotter.
That's why I always say, damn it.
Not about their capabilities from the ship I drew at them.
This show just likes to punch you in the gut while you're smiling. And the second you're feeling that punch, they want to make you smile. Well, first of all, the very first thing I have to say about this episode is rest in peace, Clyde Ashford. Rest in peace. Probably my favorite character from last season. I mean, from last season, it's definitely my favorite character. The character that was introduced. At least I'm glad that his final act in life, was successful. Him sending the message out was successful. At least I'm glad for that. As I always say, and it's more true now than it has ever been, this show doesn't do good. This show doesn't do happy. It's like, oh yeah, you're smiling right now. Oh, ho, ho, you're so happy. Everything's going well. Let's mess things up. And that's exactly what happened here. Oh yeah, Ashford. It was to be. I will say it was to be expected. Okay, and that's what Naomi went with. Otherwise, he's gonna end up getting my son Philip killed because he's got a bounty on his head right now. That's why I said Ashford should have had more people on his ship. Damn it! I would have gone with an armada, 20 people, something like that. That's what I would have gone with. I just had at least a dozen people. All right, the son that died. From that Martian, he could have been a very valuable help here, but unfortunately, Ashford spread his message. Kind of ironic that him being peaceful, him being friendly, him wanting to avoid war and battle and hate might have been the reason that he died. Essentially, he died for his cause. considering that he used to be completely different when he was younger, we didn't really get to see that, but considering that he used to be very different when he was younger, it's kind of ironic that he died in his old age because he wanted peace. Frustrating, because I really enjoyed his character, but now it actually seemed like now we have debatable. You could say Anderson doors before, but like we didn't really have a villain, quote unquote villain, before in this show, like a one person villain in this show. We've always had people on like multiple sides, but like we can pretty much say that like he is a villain, like pretty much, right? Nobody's gonna be like, oh yeah, no, actually, I actually agree with him. Like we can pretty much all agree that like he is the first villain that we've had in this show, like the first human villain that we've had in the show. Mao, maybe, but then again, he did seem, I would say, more like the Doctor rather than Mao, because Mao, he seemed like, okay, he wanted to do things, like once he realized that things were out of control, that's when he was like, you know what, let's stop it, and he didn't. Yes, he did, but he didn't really. Also, both. Mao was much more a villain like the early parts, and then later parts with May and whatnot, he kind of softened up, got buttered up. He's kind of softened and melted like a butter. But like, I don't expect Marcus and Naru to change ever, and Philip is just gonna follow his father. That's basically all it is. He's just gonna follow his father. And I think the only person that can really get him out of this is gonna be Naomi. Yeah, I saw this death coming. I'll be honest. I saw this death coming with the whole drummer scene and the whole liquor. Yeah. But regardless, Clash Ashford. Rest in peace, Bernetna. On the other side of the universe, we had Avasarala lose. Bobby wanted to join up with Avasarala. Now, it's kind of funny that Avasarala has lost everything, seemingly. She's lost the position that she's been eyeing so much. She's, quite frankly, lost power. And exactly when she lost power, and even her husband is like trying to distance herself, get a break, essentially. I just separate himself from her for a little while. Exactly when that's going on, you know, Bobby's like, "Hi, Avasarala, you still there, bro? Oh yeah, can I join you?" Like, I know Avasarala said it's a bad timing and whatnot, but I also think it's a good timing because right now, my assumption is that Avasarala accepts Bobby's help. That they both essentially work together, right? I know Avasarala doesn't necessarily have a position or anything of that sort, but that they just work together. Because what she needs right now is to be distracted. Not alone, distracted. And that's exactly what Bobby can be distracted with, like a massive conspiracy. But yeah, I know, big distraction, but considering that what her previous role was, you know, and considering what kind of character she is, I think a big distraction is necessary for her to really be distracted from her loss. You know, considering that we know that she's a character that will do anything to achieve a victory. Now, apparently, Miller is also gone. Again, I'm saying apparently because I thought for sure he was gone at the beginning of the episode, and then like once Holden started talking about it, like, oh, shoot, the last thing I told him was, you know, the rain tastes like water, and I was like, where you trying to go with that? So my mind is like, is Miller gonna come back? I don't know. Shoot. We never really went back to Mercury and Amos. Nothing major is gonna happen off screen. I think the only thing we'll see, like when with season 5, whenever that returns, is we'll see Amos maybe bloodied for a bit. We'll see Mercury even more bloodied, and from that point on, that's it. That's it. We'll come back in like a month later. He just had to get it out of his system, you know. I had to get it out of his system, and I think he's gotten it out. I don't think any of them is quote unquote dead. I don't think they would off screen. I don't think they would off screen those two fighting to the death. That would be wild. That would be wild. All right. The plot on Illis was sort of resolved. Now there is something lurking in the darkness. The darkness. darkness. The darkness consumes even the best of us and the worst of us, and it turns us into the worst of us. Wouldn't be able to consume me. Why? Because there is no best of me or worst of me. There's only me. But yeah, the darkness. I said during the episode, they're all saying something is coming. Something from the darkness is coming. That's what it felt like. Like something was getting closer and closer. I don't think something is coming. I think something is dragging them in. Which my first thought was black hole. You're being sucked in. But you think, but all you can really notice is like getting closer, and you think, oh, they're coming closer to you. Well, you are being sucked in. That's what I think it is. But I could be completely wrong here. I know the thing that we're... That event that took out that civilization, yeah, it could be anything. It could be anything. It could be another civilization. It could be anything. Absolutely anything, right? I think that it could be a metaphor for a black hole. For a black hole. I could be 110% wrong, and I know that. All the signs tell me it's not that. But for some reason, I want to say it's a black hole. Well, everything that we've been led to believe with is a black hole. Which makes little to no sense, because why is the planet still standing? But I don't know. I don't know. I truly don't know. So, I realize that I'm most likely going to be wrong. Like 99.9.9.9 recurring or wrong. But it's that tiny 0.00 recurring 1 is the reason why I'm like, perhaps I'm not wrong. Perhaps I'm not wrong. It's a wild shit, but this show basically has told you that science, while it matters, once a protein molecule is involved, it doesn't matter. And thus I can actually say anything, and I could just say, yeah, but protein molecule. Yeah, but that's my excuse for everything. Yeah, but protein molecule. Science doesn't exist at that point anymore. So, or at least it's at such a high form that it doesn't exist for us common humans. Which wouldn't be me, of course. I'm not talking about me when I say common humans, of course. But anyway, that's not the point. Point is, that was a season 4 finale. Quite frankly, I very much enjoyed this season. I actually don't know which is my favorite season. When I watched season 2, I think I said it was better than season 1. I think that's what I said. It's been quite a while. It's been like a year now. But I think when I finished season 2, I said season 2 was better than season 1. And I think when I saw season 3, I said season 3 has higher peaks than season 2. But while not as consistent as season 2, the higher peaks just push it just a tiny bit over season 2. Season 4, let me have a quick look to see when it actually started. It started with the time skip, didn't it? New Terra. Okay, yeah. New Terra. Season 4 was shorter than the other season, I believe. This one was only 10. I think the other season are like 12 episodes, right? This one was 10. I can't remember. So I'm not going to go through all of that to just check. But like, it was a very, very strong, consistent season. Was it better than season 3? Or more consistently great than season 2? I want to say it was better than season 2. And I also want to say it was better than season 3. It was as consistent as season 2, but I think it had higher peaks than season 2, which just edges it a little bit past season 3. So as of right now, today, granted this could all change once I look through all the episodes again. Waiting for season 5. I also mentioned that I want to do a talk, discussion, whatever, on the Expanse. Maybe give me like 2 weeks or so, because I think I won't watch all the episodes again because it's 4 seasons, but I skim through it. 2 weeks to skim. It's not really watching, but skimming through, and then I can do a proper proper talk on the show as a whole. I enjoyed it. I learned about this show, right? The first time I heard about this show was when it was, I think I mentioned it already, but when it was supposedly cancelled. I think that's what it was. From Sci-Fi, it was cancelled, and then Amazon picked it up, and I saw. I'm not like following any of the Expanse fan base, but that's actually what made me so interested in it, because I saw people that I follow who have never ever either tweeted or posted on Reddit or anything of that sort, or on YouTube or anything of that sort, that have never mentioned the Expanse. And when it was like cancelled, there was like this huge petition for like another thing to pick it up. That's when I was like, whoa, I've never heard of this show before. But the fact that so many people that I follow that have never spoken about it are talking about it means that it has to be good. Because, yeah, okay, you know, if you see people that are constantly talking about a show, to me that just means they're a fanboy, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing with fanboys is that, quite frankly, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, they will defend anything. They will say anything to hype their show up to get people to watch it / read it. For example, I am probably the biggest, I can't say the biggest, but I'm a One Piece fanboy, alright? You don't see me talk about it all that much. I do talk about it a lot, right? But that's my favorite thing. I have never given anything a 10 out of 10, just out of principle, because to me a 10 out of 10 means it is flawless from beginning to end with no single negative thing. I'm very critical. I'm like the kind of person that like that's being made fun about, like, oh, you're giving it an 8.87 instead of an 8.8, or you're giving it a 9.932 instead of a 10. It's like, I'm that kind of person, all right? But because I'm that kind of person, I feel like that me being a fanboy actually doesn't matter, because I never defend anything. I've been known as a hater sometimes, but I never irrationally defend anything. And to me, the most important thing is always the ending. I've said this a few times, but I'll say this right now, I guess, because the show isn't over. If the ending of a show, a book, a game, whatever, if the ending is very, very poor, then the whole thing was a waste of time. To me, the show could be a quote-unquote 10 out of 10 all the way through, and if the ending is like a 3 out of 10, like an absolutely awful ending, the whole show, even though it was like 99% of the way a 10 out of 10, it will immediately go down to like a 1 out of 10. And I know my take is completely different to other people's take, because other people, they value the journey a lot more. But to me, if the payoff, if the conclusion of a journey is awful, then the whole journey is wasted. I can't look back on it I can't look back on it and be like, I really enjoyed that, because at the end of the day, I know how it ends, and I know that the ending is terrible. So, shoot, I actually don't know what point I was going at, but like, The Expanse, right? So far, I'm very much enjoying it. I don't know where I would rank it amongst the TV series. I haven't really seen many TV series. I've seen like Game of Thrones, a 1 out of 10. I always enjoy the books more, but like, yeah, still a 1 out of 10 because of the last 4 seasons. Ever since season 5, season 5 was terrible. Season 5 was bad. Season 6 had a few good moments, but so many illogical things that are just bad as well. Season 7 was not bad, but rushed. It wasn't actually bad, but it was just rushed. And season 8 was a terrible ending. It wasn't necessarily a bad season. It was a terrible ending. There is a distinction between that, but it was just a terrible ending. But like, I've not seen that many TV shows. Like, I've seen Game of Thrones. I was interrupted there, but at least that gave me a little bit of time to think about the TV shows that I've seen. Because at the end of the day, I don't know if I should rank The Expanse amongst fellow TV shows, because again, I've not seen that many. But it would definitely rank rather high, and I just don't know quite yet where. Because from the TV shows that I've seen, again, I mentioned Game of Thrones, I've seen House of Cards, I have seen Breaking Bad, I've seen Doctor Who, Torchwood, Sherlock, a bunch of DC and Marvel shows, and I think that would honestly be about it. Like, I haven't seen that many TV shows. There are probably like 100 TV shows that I could probably mention. I think I've seen like 3 episodes of Lost or 4 episodes of Lost. I've seen Somebody Save Me. Don't get Smallville. That's I couldn't think of the name. I could think of the song name, but I couldn't think of. And then I've seen Vikings. So that's about it for when it comes to TV shows. I think I could probably not be remembering a few of them. I think I've seen like 2 or 3 episodes of Black Sails as well. I only remember like 1 character, so that's one thing. But like from what I have seen and from what I can recollect, I think I've seen also 1 episode of 24, and I've seen Fringe. I've seen Fringe, and I think I've seen 1 episode of 24, or is it 23? I don't know. It's somewhere. I think I've seen like a few minutes, and there was like a countdown, a timer. That's it. That's it. All right. So, in terms of like modern TV shows, I think that's about it. So I don't know whether I'm qualified to compare it. What I will say though, that it is different. Different than most TV shows that I've seen, and I think that really boils down to the fact that there is a lot more mystery. If you look at the list of TV shows that I've mentioned, there's only like 2-ish. I want to say 2-ish shows that have any sort of mystery and like plot that keeps you in. Not a plot that keeps you engaged, but like any sort of mystery. And those would probably be Sherlock, and the other one would probably be Torchwood, more specifically Torchwood Season 3 and Season 4. I'm not saying that like a lot of the other shows are not not that the other shows are episodic, but it kind of also feels like they are. Vikings at times feel like it is episodic, and they're not. Game of Thrones didn't really have much of a mystery, probably because I read the books, but that's a different story. So ultimately it boiled down to me just being like, yeah, that's cool. This one, I felt more like, okay, so it's just a different feeling. Now, of course, besides TV shows, I've seen plenty of other shows that I could make a good reference to when it comes to The Expanse, but they're different mediums, so there's no point comparing different mediums, I feel like. But what I will say, though, is I'll leave it off with this. I enjoyed the 4 seasons, not the hotel, the TV series. I enjoyed the 4 seasons, not Vivaldi. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I enjoyed the 4th season of The Expanse, so much so that I'm looking forward to season 5, and I'll be here once season 5 arrives. But that's all I can say though about The Expanse. Marcus Inari, Clay Aisford. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Everyone, until then, have a nice day. Peace out and bye. Hey everybody, if you like this video, please be sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And if you want to see more of these kind of videos, be sure to check out Patreon to get 1 week early access as well as full length. Until next time, everybody, peace out and have a nice day.